What if the proof of a larger inner life, something that feels like light, could be discovered by the feel of your own body? What if an old, hidden teaching handed down by seekers and then set aside by official histories gives you a simple way to check for that inner signal right now, in a way you can verify for yourself? This is not a claim about certificates or tests. This is an invitation to notice. The practice I'll guide you through is a basic internal light technique for beginners. It comes from a lineage often called Gnostic, texts found among the Nag Hammadi discoveries, including teachings attributed in that tradition to figures like Jesus as recorded in the Gospel of Philip, a Gnostic apocryphon. That lineage frames human beings as fragments of a primordial source, the monad, and describes forces and structures that interfere with remembrance. Whether you accept the cosmology or not, the exercise itself is practical. 3 points on the body, a breath, a gentle touch, and a short declaration. Many people report an immediate felt sense. Some feel warmth, calm, or a subtle pressure. Some feel nothing at first. All of that is valid. I will give a very brief context so the practice has a frame, then lead you step by step. Stay with me. This is simple, and it is meant to be testable by your own senses. Long ago, in certain circles, seekers spoke of a source, called the monad, the primordial origin, the wellspring of being. Around that idea are other concepts: the demiurge, a secondary maker, a shaping force distant from the source, and archons, energies or patterns that obscure direct remembrance. These words are technical inside certain traditions. Use them as lenses, not as dogma. Think of the monad as the deep origin that some mystical schools say you are a part of, and think of archons as the habitual doubts and distractions that keep you from noticing that connection. Scholars call these writings apocryphal, non-canonical, and that is how the Gospel of Philip and similar texts are best described. Part of a parallel body of spiritual literature, not identical in status to canonical scripture. I mention this so you can receive the method with clear eyes. The technique centers on 3 bodily loci that this tradition maps metaphorically and experientially: the base of the skull, the lateral side of the hand, and the center of the sternum. In the language of the teaching, these function as origin, perception, and command. Again, these are subjective, somatic cues, not medical markers or diagnostic signs. Treat them as possible somatic signals that can help you orient inward. I'll name them plainly so you can find them without confusion. The first is the base of the skull, where neck meets skull, a place just behind the hairline. The second is the outer edge of your hand, the side along the pinky, between wrist and little finger, where some simple lines and tension are easily felt. The third is the center of the sternum, the flat, sensitive place of the chest we sometimes call the breastbone. Each point is practical to locate and simple to contact. Before we start, settle somewhere quiet where you won't be interrupted for about 10 minutes. Sit upright, but comfortable. You may wish to dim lights or remove glasses. Keep a gentle honesty. Whatever you feel is your data. Nothing you experience here will be used to evaluate your worth or spiritual status. This is exploration, not judgment. Begin with breath. Breathe slowly. Inhale through your nose to a comfortable depth. Hold a moment. Exhale through your mouth, letting your shoulders soften. Do this 3 times. With each exhale, let the chest drop and the jaw relax. Allow your attention to settle inside the body rather than into thinking. If thinking arises, notice it and let attention return to the breath. Now, with your attention calm, place the pads of 2 fingers at the base of your skull, where the head meets the neck, just beneath the hairline. Press gently, not hard. You might feel musculature, a little warmth, or a subtle hollowness. Stay there for a full breath in and out. Notice temperature, pressure, tingling, or stillness. The instruction is, feel. If you feel nothing at all, that is as meaningful as any sensation. Do not interpret absence as lack. Interpret it as current condition to be observed. Next, bring your attention to your right hand. If you prefer left, use left. Choose the hand that feels most natural. Turn it palm facing up, then slowly rotate to show the side edge, the line between palm and the exterior, along the pinky side. Use your left hand to trace that outer edge with your fingertip, moving from wrist toward knuckles, slow and deliberate. Look at the creases. Press lightly along that side with your index finger. Notice skin tone, temperature differences between hands, tiny sensations of pressure or recognition. Some people feel a faint ringing, a coolness, a tightening. Note what you perceive. Again, no need to force anything. This is a gentle inspection. Then bring 2 fingers, index and middle, centered to the flat bone at the middle of your chest. Press lightly into the sternum, where the ribs meet the breastbone. Hold the contact for a breath in and out. This place often carries emotional weight. Some people find immediate calm. Some find a catching, some a slight warmth. Whatever arises, say silently, noticing. Allow the contact to anchor your attention there for 2 more breaths. We have now touched the 3 loci: base of skull, origin; lateral hand, perception; sternum center, command. You can think of them as points that help the nervous system reorient from habitual outer attention to a felt inner axis. Before you proceed to the voiced part, anticipate a kind of interference. In this tradition, such interruptions are called archons, patterns of doubt, inner critics, or reflexive distractions. You will likely meet a thought like, "This is silly," or "I feel nothing," or "Am I doing it right?" That voice is expected. Do not engage it in debate. Observe it like weather passing. When it appears, label it gently. That's a doubt. Then bring attention back to the point you were holding, back to the breath, back to the fingers at the base of the skull, back to the side of the hand, back to the sternum. The practice is simple in its recovery. Notice the diversion and return your senses to the body. Now we will offer a short, optional spoken declaration. You can speak aloud, whisper, or say it silently. Use the mode that feels most comfortable. The words are concise affirmations of recognition, perception, and agency. If speaking aloud is difficult where you are, speak them internally and allow them to vibrate in your chest. Place your hands again on the 3 points, 2 fingers at the base of the skull, the side of your hand traced and felt, and fingers to the center of the sternum. Take a full breath. As you exhale, say in first person, slowly and with intention, "I recognize my origin. I activate my perception. I declare my command." Say the phrase once, then again if you wish. Allow the words to land as sensations rather than as ideas. Observe any shift, a loosening in the throat, warmth spreading, a quieting of thought, a sharpening of attention. If nothing occurs, remain patient. Do not judge. Some people report immediate subtle changes. Some experience something later, hours or days on. The practice is about recognition, not about immediate proof of permanent transformation. If a strong emotional or physical reaction arises, a powerful wave of grief, dizziness, or anything that feels destabilizing, stop the practice and attend to your basic needs. Sit with steady breathing, drink water, and if necessary, contact a trusted person. This technique is experiential and not a substitute for medical, psychological, or psychiatric care. If you have concerns about heart conditions, seizures, or other medical vulnerabilities, use caution and consult a professional. Many seekers are curious. What do these sensations mean? If you feel a warmth at the base of the skull, some traditions read that as a felt sense of connection to origin. If the lateral hand feels alive or tingly, it may be interpreted as a quickening of perception, a sense that your capacity to notice subtle impressions is engaging. If the sternum relaxes or carries a steadiness, that can be read as an activation of a center of volition or command. These are interpretive frames. Use them as hypotheses to test in your own experience, rather than as definitive metaphysical proofs. You may also notice that sensations vary day to day. Do not take variability as personal failure. The presence of sensation is not better or worse than the absence of sensation. The point is your ability to direct attention inward, to develop a private method of verification that does not depend on external authorities. If skepticism arises, work with it. Say to the intrusive thought, "I hear you." Then return to the locus you prefer. For example, "I hear the doubt that this is silly." Then gently press the fingers to the base of the skull and breathe. The practice trains the musculature of attention as much as it trains belief. Repetition develops familiarity. If you want to test this as an experiment, do the following variation over a few days. Each day, at roughly the same time, sit for 10 minutes and perform the 3 contacts and the declaration. Note sensations in a single line. For instance, warmth at skull, clarity in hand, calm in sternum. Keep no more than a sentence. Over time, you will have a record of patterns. This log is your personal data. It will help you see change without mythologizing each moment. A word about the teaching's provenance. The association with Jesus in the Gospel of Philip is phrased in that source as a teaching attributed within a Gnostic context. It is not the same as canonical accounts, and many historians and theologians treat it as part of an alternate early Christian stream. I mention that so you can weigh the lineage. If you resonate with the frame, monad, archons, the idea of being a pneumatic fragment, you can adopt that cosmology as a meaningful map. If you do not, you may simply use the practical parts: the breath, the touch, the declaration. The technique functions whether you accept the metaphysics or not. If during the activation you feel a surge of pride or a voice that says, "I am superior," return your attention to humility. The presence of a sensation is not a certificate of spiritual rank. It is a felt sense, an internal signpost. Use it to remember connection, not to distinguish yourself from others. Now, to help anchor your experience, we will repeat the practice one more time, more slowly, with guided language. Follow my words, doing what is asked, and use the pace that fits your breathing. Breathe in. Slowly. Fill the belly, then chest. Hold a moment. Exhale. Let the shoulders drop. Bring 2 fingers to the base of your skull. Rest them there. Feel the curve where skull meets neck. Breathe in. Breathe out. Notice any subtle warmth or pressure. If your mind wanders to planning or to the day's tasks, notice the thought and name it. Planning. Then return to the fingertip at the skull. Now move your attention to the outer edge of your hand. With the other hand, trace from wrist toward the pinky. Feel the skin, the small creases, the sensation of movement. Hold that awareness for a breath. Notice if the hand feels the same as the other hand. Notice if there is any micro-tension or ease. Place your fingers to the center of your sternum. Press lightly. Feel the support under your hands, the plate of bone, the connection to breath. Breathe into that place as if you could tilt attention like a light into the center of the chest. Feel whatever arises: constriction, warmth, openness, coolness. Name it silently. Warmth, tightness, open. Take a full breath. As you release, speak clearly if you can, these words in first person. I recognize my origin. Pause. Breathe. I activate my perception. Pause. Breathe. I declare my command. Exhale. Listen to the sound of your voice in the chest. Feel the vibration in the sternum. Notice whether anything has shifted. If a thought says, "This is nothing," name it and return. If a sensation moves through the back of the neck or the side of the hand, let it pass like a weather pattern. Breathe. Rest. If you felt even a small shift, name it internally. Recognition, If you felt nothing, still type into your own inner log the single word, no signal, or quiet. This way you remain an observer, not an interpreter. Now, if this practice resonated, please do something simple that extends this community. Below this video, type the single keyword, recognition. That word is a small witness to your experiment. No long reports needed, just that single word. If you're not comfortable writing anything, that's fine too. The point is not to show, but to witness yourself in small communal steps. We should address a few common questions and cautions. First, will this open miraculous doors? It may create a felt sense, a small reorientation, a sense of inner calm or sharpened perception. Some will describe vivid, life-changing shifts. Others will notice nothing at first. Neither outcome is a failure. This is a practice in subtlety. It is a tool for inner verification, not a guarantee of permanent transformation. Second, is this safe? For most people, this practice is gentle. However, if you have a history of severe dissociation, psychosis, or certain neurological conditions, check with a qualified professional before engaging in prolonged inner work. Do not use this technique as a replacement for medical or psychological treatment. Third, does the absence of feeling mean spiritual deficiency? No. Absence of sensation is merely current physiology and attention. Cultivating a stable practice is what brings clarity, not the instant presence of phenomena. Treat patience as part of your discipline. Fourth, what about the wider implications? If you experience an inner shift, you may find yourself less reliant on intermediaries, structures, or authorities that claim exclusive access to spirit. That is a social and political implication worth attending to carefully. An inward verification can reduce the need for external validation. Use that reduction as dignity, not as justification for cutting off necessary community structures. Be wise about the relationships and institutions that support life and health. If, in your cultural or religious tradition, the idea of non-canonical texts or Gnostic cosmology feels uncomfortable, you may simply use the method as a somatic attention practice. Many spiritual technologies across cultures use body contact, breath, and declaration to orient perception. The particular language of monad or archons is optional. The sensory work is universal. Before we close, let me offer a brief, simple prayer. If you prefer not to pray aloud, you may hold the sentiment inward. I will use inclusive language so you can adapt it to your own vocabulary. Lord, Source, presence that is true for each of us in whatever name you hold. Help us to remember. Help us to be gentle with our doubts. Grant us the patience to notice without rush, and the humility to accept what we find. May these small acts of attention bring clarity, steadiness, and the courage to live with greater inner sovereignty. Amen. As you move out of this practice, carry a sober curiosity. Test this again tomorrow. Keep a single-word log. Notice whether your day's choices change how you feel in the chest or in the hand. Small repetitions create a pattern of remembrance that does not depend on external validation. If you found any felt sense, any small recognition, please type the word recognition in the comments now. That one word is our early witness. It helps us form a quiet community of people dedicated to simple, verifiable inner work. If you'd like more activations and longer guided practices that explore variations and deeper checks, subscribe and follow the channel. I will offer further sessions that expand this basic template into safe, progressive steps. One final reminder. This practice is experiential, subjective, and variable. It does not substitute for professional medical or psychological care. It does not certify spiritual rank. It does, however, give you a practical, simple way to test a hypothesis about yourself. Whether there is an internal light you can notice and return to. Use it with curiosity, with care, and with compassion for yourself and others. Go gently. Notice. Name. Come back when you can.